So I haven't read the Bible in all of its entirety. I've read a couple of books. Are there any real contradictions in the Bible? Because I hear that there are, but I know it's the fulfilling of a prophecy, and I know it's a bunch of different accounts of different things. So I'd just like some clarity in that regard.
Great question. This gentleman asked, are there contradictions in the Bible? The answer that I'm going to give, a lot of professors would disagree with. I'm going to try and pull it out a little bit. No. I would insist there are no contradictions in the Bible. Is there paradox? Yes, there is. Is there mystery? Yes, there is. Are there manuscript variants in the earliest Greek manuscript that we have in the New Testament? Yes, there are. And that's why Bart Ehrman, head of the religion department up at UNC Chapel Hill, wants to point that out. That there are between 200 and 400,000 manuscript variants that we have today. And then Dr. Ehrman goes on to point out, that's why you're an idiot if you trust the New Testament. Let me tell you the mistake he makes. He's not telling you in how many manuscripts are all those variants found. They're found in 25,000 Greek manuscripts, or Latin Vulgate manuscripts, or Ethiopic, Coptic, Armenian, Slavic, Gothic manuscripts. We have over 5,800 Greek manuscripts. We have 10,000 Latin Vulgate manuscripts, and we have about 9,300 in the Slavic, Armenian, Gothic, Ethiopic, Coptic manuscripts. So we've got about 25,000 manuscripts. And in those 25,000, there are between 200 and 400,000 manuscript variants. Okay, so that's a challenge. It's a problem with the New Testament. Well, what do? You don't just throw up your hands and say, it's unreliable. That's being ignorant. Instead, you say, okay, what are the manuscripts? What are the variants? How big a problem are they? 99% of those variants have to do with, is the word singular or plural? Is the article definite or indefinite? They change nothing. I'll give you another example. One of the manuscripts is in Matthew, chapter 1. In certain Greek manuscripts, we read one time, Jesus was the son of Mary who was a virgin. In another Greek manuscript, 2 times, Jesus was the son of Mary who was a virgin. So I think the evidence is, it was only stated once. An overly enthusiastic scribe put it in a second time. Changes nothing in terms of the message, but it is several manuscript variants, obviously. Yeah. So, are there contradictions? No, there are not contradictions. Another big example would be slavery. In the Old Testament, there is slavery, but never once does God call for slavery. Instead, the laws that you have in the Old Testament are how to restrict slavery. In the New Testament, Paul writes, slaves obey your masters. Yes, he does. Does that mean he approves of slavery? No. You've got to study slavery in the Roman Empire. Over 50% of the people were slaves in the empire. Doctors and lawyers were slaves. In other words, slavery in the Roman Empire was not like chattel slavery in the antebellum South. In fact, in Exodus chapter 21, verse 16, we read, if you kidnap a person and are either caught with them or you sell them, you are to be put to death. That's a pretty clear statement about the horrors of slavery. Kidnapping and then selling or keeping that person as your slave. Exodus 21, verse 16. So, some people would say, but when Paul says, slaves obey your masters, he's obviously contradicting. If you kidnap someone and are caught with them, you're going to be killed. No, it's not. What Paul is doing is, he's not calling for an armed revolt on the part of all the slaves in the Roman Empire. Instead, he's saying, slaves, obey your masters. If you get your freedom, do so. And he writes the letter of Philemon, where he asks a slave holder, Philemon, to accept the runaway slave Onesimus back, no longer as a slave, but as a brother in Christ. Are those hard issues? Yes, they are. Are they easy to think through? No, they are not. But I would insist there are no contradictions in the Bible. Is there paradox? Yes. Is there mystery? Yes. Are there unanswered questions? Yes, there are. Contradiction? No. Contradiction is A and not-A, non-A are saying the same thing. That's a contradiction. That's wrong. No, A and non-A are not both equally true at the same time in the same way. That's a contradiction. Do not have contradiction anywhere in the Bible. Thank you, sir, for raising this.